This is so fun.
All right, awesome. So I'm Rosie. Welcome to Pjs and ART. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will just go over a few things. I know most of us have been throughout all six series. This is our sixth class for the month. We will be proceeding on with these classes. I'll get those up on our registration site and we'll be able to register for more in June. So we're really excited to have Deborah continue these classes and offer these classes to all of our participants. We've really enjoyed this time with her. So, like I said, I know a lot of us have been with the classes throughout all six series. So I'll just go ahead and go over some of the things that we will need to do. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat with me in the chat box. You can get my attention on the reactions down below. You can also uh, chat with me on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, there is a chat box. You're watching YouTube live. On the top right corner on Zoom, you will have a speaker layout, and that speaker layout will give you access to Deborah's full screen. So you'll want to click on that. And if you have any questions, like I said, we will be monitoring the chat box, and I'll go ahead and let Deborah take over.
Yay! Good morning, everyone. It might be early for some of you. Hi, I see some familiar faces. I see some that are new. That's great. Glad you could join us. And if you're just watching in because you are still working on your first cup of coffee, that's okay. You, like Rosie said, you can catch it later on YouTube. I've had my first cup of coffee, and I'm excited to bring this to you this morning. This is our second PJs and Art, and it went so well 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you remember doing the big flower. And so we think this is a good time of the day. You're in luck because we're going to do a few more, like Rosie said. Today we're doing a peacock, and I happen to adore fine furry friends and going to the zoo and just being outside. And this is a great time, even though it's hot where I live. It's a good time to get out really early in the morning, say 6 a.m., walk around, see the birds, you can hear them. It just sets you in a really good state of mind. And now that we're able to move about and get out, I highly recommend it. So I wanted to introduce to you this lovely little peacock friend. My girlfriend Jennifer Ajima took this photo at the Wildlife Zoo here on the west side in Goodyear, and I just love this animal or this picture that she took. I cropped it so that you can't see really his whole fan. But I'll bring him a little closer so you can see. Yes, just that beautiful blue, the greens, and there's definitely some neutrals with all that feathering going on. I even have some feathers up here for you so we can look at those closer too. All right, so what do you need while we're chatting for a second? Okay, so you should have some watercolor brushes. This one happens to be round in shape. And we're just going to use it toward the end as we put a lot of color onto the whole piece. I love that watercolor can be used as a mixed media. So we're going to actually be using to draw with oil pastels today. If you don't have those, you can use crayons. And so you might want to run go pick up a couple of crayons out of your child's or your grandchild's bin when they come to visit you. You probably have a little stash somewhere. You might want to pick up some of those because we're going to do a resist today, which means that you're going to draw with the oil or the wax crayon and then use the watercolor over the whole thing. I see some of you have already gotten up and gone to go get some of those crayons, so go get that. Then you'll have need of a little set of watercolors. You don't need to go get your professional grade today unless that's all you have. Well, that's good. But this is just the little one that Crayola puts out. So you can just grab that. I've got a pencil and I have a piece of heavy paper on my easel here, like watercolor paper or mixed media paper. Anything that's 90 pounds or more is going to be really good. A traditional watercolorist would use 140 pounds or more, and that just means how much pressure can be applied to the paper when you paint so that the paper doesn't break down and fall apart because you're adding water to it. So I think that's fun to try different mediums, and I bet you probably haven't thought about mixing your watercolors with your crayons and pastels. I have done one over here, and I'll talk about him later, but I've even explored doing him in fabric, so that's this one over here. Same picture that I was looking at, so that's fun. It's fun to just do it in different ways. I also have one back up here that I did in acrylic. If you've just got your acrylics out today, you can still do this exercise, whatever you have, even if you just have colored pencil. I'm just so proud of my student this week. She's in high school, and she did hers in colored pencil. She's not finished, but I just think she's doing a fabulous job on that. So, just saying, you could use anything you have on these exercises that we're putting on for you all. You need to just use what you have. Don't feel like you have to go out and purchase things. If you do need help, then just email me and I will give you a supply list or help you find what it is you're looking for. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to draw on this piece of paper with my oil pastels. I'm not going to bother using my pencil. If you want to start with a pencil because you're just not ready to commit to your bird, that's okay. You can then trace over it with your oil pastel. I take off the erasers on my pencils, and I do that on purpose because I don't want to spend time erasing. No one's going to see your pencil lines if you draw very lightly. So don't worry about erasing. Who has time for that? It's so fun, and you could start to scar your paper with the metal, or that ugly pink just makes a pink mess on your paper. So I always take them off. Okay, I'm going to draw with the dark blue so you can see. All right, now you know I like to do shape drawings if you've been in my class before. And so the shape of this little guy's head is an oval. So I'm going to draw an oval, or what looks like a teardrop shape, onto my paper. Now that is almost in the middle, maybe a little bit shy of the middle. Maybe the top of his head is actually at the middle of the page, and his beak is coming down just past the middle of my page. All right, now I'm going to draw his body. Well, the body is like a triangle. And this is fun. I hope the kids are joining in this morning. Maybe mom's out making pancakes while they're doing this. Anyone can do this simple exercise. If I walk you through it, you can make it as complicated or simple as you want. But we all start this way. We all start drawing just shapes. It's a work in progress. Okay, so now I have the body. Remember, here's what I'm looking at. I got the body and I got the head going. Love, love, love that. Okay, I know where I'm going at this point. Now, I studied this really hard, and I thought, how am I going to make all those feathers really come to life? Well, believe it or not, those feathers are on Let me get them kind of close to you. Those feathers are all on a stick or the plume itself. So there's actually a pattern going on where they stagger. So that's going to be fun for us to explore today. I love nature and I love seeing that there's order to things. So let's try this out. We're going to take our oil pastel and we're actually going to do some lines. I know, simple lines, just like we did with the flower, like spokes on the wheel, where we're going to do spokes going around his body. Going around his body, we're going to do that, okay? So we're going to do a line here. I think I'm going to do probably 9 lines. Not 9 lives, but 9 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going too fast, am I? 6, 7, 8. Oh, I got a little guy down here. Okay, let me bring him closer. Pretty simple, huh? Those are going to be those spokes or those sticks where his feathers are occurring off of that. It's just kind of like the spine. And those feathers actually have a shape. Okay, so let's think about that. Here comes the pattern I'm going to show you. So there's a shape going on here. We have like an eyeball. Let me put it in front of the white so it's easier to see. So it's like an eye. It looks like an eye. If you can kind of tell yourself what shapes look like and how they appear, it's easier to draw. So I talk to myself and I say, okay, that's a circle or an oval, or it looks like an eyeball. Okay, so I'm going to start here and I'm going to draw an oval close to his body. I'm going to skip this line and I'm going to draw another oval close to his body. Oops, it's behind his head. I'm going to skip this line and draw another one close to his head. Looks like he has ears. I'm going to skip this line and I'm going to put another one close to his body. I'm going to skip this line and put another one. You see what's happening here? There's a pattern going on. Otherwise, they would be all too bunched together, and when he fans out, it looks like he's bigger and he's making that big parade and he's trying to attract that female. So they're not all bunched together like zebras in a pack that are trying to hide from the lion. He wants to expose himself. Okay, so the next line, you're actually going to come up 3 inches and put the eye. I know, it's fun. If you're painting this, if you're doing it in acrylic, just draw with orange or blue with your paint, right? You don't even have to do pencil on your canvas. Okay, now I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to put one 3 inches up. And I'm going to skip this one, and we go 3 inches over. Skip this one, 3 inches over. I love it. I tell you, if you study nature long enough, you're going to see some amazing things. I mean, that fascinates me. It makes me really appreciate creation. Okay, I'm going to go back to this one. Oops, well, I can't go 3 inches there. That one would be off the page, so forget that one. How about this one? I can go 3, and I can see a little bit of this one. I can go 3 inches here and put one there. I can go 3 inches. I'm not really measuring. I'm just eyeballing it. I got eyes, and I'm eyeballing it, yes. I'm going to go 3 here and put one other one. Oh, that one's off the page. This one, 3 inches over, and I can fit one in. Do you see how those are all fanned out? And yes, they don't look as full as this yet, but we don't have all the lacy streams that are coming out around the eyeballs, and that's going to fill it all in. So this is just blocking. Now the other major part of this bird is his skirt. I don't know the scientific name for this green part that's around his body, but that's where all those feathers are attached to his rear. And so I'm going to call it a skirt because I just like that term. I don't know. Maybe somebody could look that up for me and tell me what that is. But he has a skirt here, and that skirt comes behind his body and flares out like this. All right, I'm going to pull this forward. I know I can't draw without putting it up on the board. I can't draw. I try to draw upside down, but that's not good. So you can see my simple drawing. Very simple. Now we're going to add color and really make this thing come alive. Let's stick with the skirt for just a little bit longer before we move to another area. I love to do the skirt and add pattern and texture. Maybe because I like to do fiber art, that I love lines and how you can create them differently. So on this one, you can see that my skirt has zigzags. So you see those little zigzags going all the way around his body. You could choose to do that. You could choose to make him scallop. So you could scallop, 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 scallop. That's what the original picture shows. It's more of a scallop. So you could draw some scallops in there. Or you could do dashes like this one. So see, it's dash, 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 dash. Just adding a little bit of texture with your oil pastel. So I think I'm going to go for the scallops. And I'm going to draw some sideways, or they look like C's or sideways U's. Just tell yourself what it looks like or describe it, and you won't get flustered. And then I'm going to put some behind the C's. So I'm scalloping. Let me bring that closer to you. And then you can see it. But you could have done dashes, you could have done zigzags, whatever's your fancy, whatever you like. Okay. I'm going to do the other side now. Whatever you do on one side, do on the other. They don't have to be exact, though. You could be twisting a little bit, and some of the scallops can be a little bit bigger than the others. This is a fun morning to do this kind of exercise because it reminds me of going to the zoo really early and the animals are all awake and alive at this time. You don't want to go in the afternoon, they're all sleeping. When I did this in fiber, I scalloped the body and I cut out all these little pieces of fabric to do that. So I like curves. It's kind of my thing. Okay, so his skirt's got all these little C curves on there. I'm not going to bother doing it with his body today. You could put it all over his body if you wanted. Now, he does have something fun on top of his head. And let me show you the picture up close. Okay, so he's got this cute little plume stuck on the top of his head. It does not look like the other eyes, right? It's a little bit different. So we're going to put just a line on top of his head. He's got a stick hook on his head and a tinier with two ovals up on top. I guess like he's got two little antennae up there. I'm not sure what those do either. Maybe somebody knows what the purpose of those are. Maybe just still to attract a female. I don't know. Okay, are we ready to move on? I bet you all are doing a good job. I'm excited. Okay, so the eyes on a bird, the peacock is a bird, are on the side of his head. They are not in the front. So when you were a really little kid, you would stick everything had eyes to the front. But he needs to be able to see if something is coming and about to attack him. So his eye is actually going to be on the side. So if you want to put an oval on the side of his head, that would be awesome. I can't really see the oval on this side, but I know it's there. I just kind of scratched it in there with my oil pastel. Okay, the next thing we want to do is work on his beak. All right, so we know that he has this little point here, just like all birds, so they can peck at things. And so I'm going to put a triangle for his beak, an upside down triangle. Now you can, if you have white, which I don't even, I see kind of a grayish white in my set. You could color that in. Okay, so I'm kind of introducing you to how we're going to color in, because we're going to make a resist happen here. This is oil, and we're going to use water later, and they don't like each other, so they're going to resist each other. They're not going to play together very well, but in the end, it looks really nice. Okay, how about let's work on the feathers now that go on, or the little lacy, feathery things that go around the eyeballs. I think those are fun, and then we'll go back and fill in these eyeballs. So use whatever color at this point you want to use to make that feathery look. I used blue on this one, and I think I used, let's see, I think I still use blue on that one. I must be in a blue phase or something, which is unusual for me. But you could use green. Those were drawn in green. And let's see if there's another one. Just kind of giving you this is a lighter blue. Okay? So we're going to make these lacy, feathery looking lines. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I could make them look like a V, or you could make your lines look like a wavy V. You choose. They could be kind of random and drippy. So whatever you choose to do, kind of stick with the same look. It's good to have a dominant line type rather than going willy-nilly and having 5,000 different line types. So if you're going to do curved lines, do curves. If you're going to do wiggles, do wiggles. If you're going to do just the V, the straighter line, do that. You can see in the photograph, the lines are pretty straight. You know me, I like curves and wiggles, so I'm not going to do them all straight. I'm going to make them kind of wiggly and wavy. Let me show you the real one. You can get these in the store, by the way. I think I picked this one up at Hobby Lobby. But you can see up close that they're just mostly straight and wispy. But they're really beautiful. They're so pretty. And they go around the eyes. So they're longer as they go up around the eyes. So let's draw those in. I bet you didn't know we were going to draw so much today. You probably thought we were going to do a lot of painting. But drawing is really important when you're working with paint. Now I'm going to rest him up here because he's falling down. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to wiggle some lines around those eyeballs. And that's really filling in that whole background. I'm twisting my my arm as I draw those to do wiggles. If you're just doing straight V lines, you wouldn't be twisting. But I'm twisting my oil pastel. Just to give some variety. Yay! They're looking good. It's like they're flowing, like he's strutting around, and they're all waving in the wind. I would love to do this in fiber art. Maybe I will do one that's like a wall movement that's quilty. Make all these lines just wiggle. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. So I'm not even finished. This might take you a while, and that's okay. Might take you just a little bit longer than normal. So you can keep on wiggling your lines. And I believe I will let Miss Rosie talk for a second while you're doing your wiggle lines. She's going to tell you how you can help me. I know these are all free, but she's going to give you some links to some of my tip lines where if you felt like you wanted to give me a little donation for my supplies and my time, that'd be great. I love bringing this to you. I appreciate anything and everything, but you don't have to do that. So I want to continue being a beautiful professional artist for you guys. And in order to do that, I have to keep afloat in doing this. So she's just going to give you some of those things in the little box, and then you can chime in and donate whenever you feel like it. So thank you. I'll let her talk for a second, and you just keep wiggling lines.
All right. So I will go ahead and link all of these tip links onto the chat box. Like Deborah said, we are really just grateful for her time, and we thank her so much for doing these classes. It's an early morning today, and so I will definitely link those both on YouTube and here on the Zoom chat. I believe you can follow some of these links by clicking on the link that I share, and then each link will have its own code, and I will also add that to the chat box. Once again, thanks, Deborah.
Thank you so much, you all. I know it's hard for me to ask for those things. I don't like having to do that. But anyway, I guess I would be a starving artist, like they say, if I don't try. And so I do. Okay, enough of that, because I don't like talking about that stuff. Okay, so I just like doing the art with you guys. And so here, I'm going to keep going. I know it takes a while to do all these little squiggly lines, but it's really filling in the void space. It's really going to make the whole piece come alive. When I did this one, after I placed all the fabric on, I came back and painted those lines in. So you could consider this a mixed media as well. Okay. So I am drawing with my Royal Pastel for those of you who are just joining us. So you'll be able to watch this in its entirety on the YouTube channel for the year, Arts and Culture. And any of the prior sessions, you can catch those as well. And we have some coming up all summer. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, wait till I tell you about what we're doing Thursday night. Yeah, good fun. In fact, I should ask you all, if you have a moment, if you could type into your chat, do you like Italy or France? Just put in there, Italy or France. I'm going to take a poll, see what happens, and then I'll announce it a week from Wednesday, because then you'll know exactly what we're thinking. Okay, I got to go back over here. That'll be good for some of our people who are just chiming in, but they're not quite awake yet. So at least they can type Italy or France. I like them both, so yes. I spent some time studying overseas, my architecture degree, and I actually lived overseas for a while. I have a lot of favorite places, but I do love here. Here in America, we have some fabulous places. So I sometimes just get in the car and drive to some of the national parks or the monuments, and I take lots of photographs. You know, I did a 3-day trip all the way to Mount Rushmore, did the whole tour behind the statues and everything, because I really wanted to see it. I really wanted to study the sculpture. So there's so many things that you guys can do. And then you stop in Deadwood. Like, there's places you can go along the way. You know, you can go to Custer's Last Stand. So history is awesome. Art is awesome. You're hiking, you're out. My kids, I made them go on all these like crazy little 3-day trips. So they had to sleep in the car. But there's nothing like seeing it and then be absorbed in the history and the culture. Okay, so I've got all my wispies in. This looks a little too void for me. So what I could do is just actually put in some wiggle sticks back there, like they're in the far back. Because if you look at my photograph, you can see that there's a lot of plumes that are just in the far back, and I can't see their eyeballs at all. Like they're not shining forward because they're probably way behind him to the back side of him. But I really want to fill this in, so I'm just going to put some wiggly lines without eyes to fill in some of that space. I bet your art is looking really nice about right now. Like I bet you're filling this whole thing in. I'm working on a larger sheet, like I have a 11 by 17 sheet. But if you're on 8 by 10, I'm sure that you're still getting a beautiful piece. This one is 16 by 20. This one is 8 by 10. If those of you who are using acrylics today, so you were doing the same thing, you had the eyes, and all I did was paint in the squiggles with different colors. So if you're painting, that's what you're doing. Okay, I'm just putting in these little squiggles to fill in some void. That's all. If you want to leave the void, that's fine too. Sometimes having a variety of negative space is really fascinating and interesting. To me, this is the leader. This is what's bringing me into the picture. It's a very centralized composition. So everything's fanning out from the center, but this becomes my lead. So I think this is why I chose not to put so much texture right there. So it becomes a void. It's going to have color, but it becomes this void and brings me into the photograph, to the painting. Okay. I know that's a lot of art theory. And you can join in on some of my more advanced, well, they're beginners, but we talk about more elements and principles of design, why we do what we do. And I have a watercolor class going on for this month, so you're welcome to join for that. And we use a little bit more fancier watercolors than these, but these will work if you have them. All right, you ready to move to the next part? Because I know I am excited about this. I would like us to now focus on these eyeballs. And when I say focus on them, there's a lot going on here. It's not just that oval. So if I show you up close, it's really got like a pupil. You know, it's got an iris. I mean, think of it like an eye. Really fun. So there is a black pupil. There's a iridescent blue iris, and then it has this, what I would call it gray or neutral brown, or you might make it beige. That would be like our whites of the eye. I wonder what was made first, the human eye or the peacock eye? Makes me think. This might have inspired our beautiful eyes. And look at this, and then there's this green around it. So fun. Okay, so let's think about that. I'm going to now switch and use different oil pastels for those different parts of the eyes. And I'm going to start with my black, because that will be easier for me to tell where that central part, I'll call it the pupil. All right. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to draw a circle. If you want to get real specific and you want to do those little, they look like horseshoes, you could do that too. Okay? But I'm just going to use a little black dot. In the center or near the bottom, like maybe a third of the way in. I'm going to put that in each one. I think it's easier to do all the eyes simultaneously than doing one eye and, going back down here and getting the next color and then the next color and then going to this one and trying to repeat. I think it's better to just pick one color up at one time, do all of the shapes with this color, and then pick up my iris color and do that next. It's just how I work. Keeps me in my right brain. You have a right and a left lobe, and that way I'm not having to think too much. Okay, where's the red? Where's the green? Yeah, so I've got all those cute little pupils going on there. They look very dilated. Okay, so now I'm going to, if I want to be like with Peacock, I would put in probably the blue next, like the iridescent blue. I'm going to go with a lighter blue today, just because I feel like that. And I am going to now put a circle around the black dot. I bet you didn't know you'd be drawing so much today. If you're picking up some of the black into your blue, because black is an opaque, it's not really a color, but it's opaque, and we'll call it a color for today. It's muddying up your blue, so be very careful. If you get black on your blue, you can rub it off on a piece of paper and clean up your oil pastel. Putting on the blue dots, blue donuts. They look like donuts now. Oh, that's making me hungry. Some of you are probably having fun eating pancakes right now. Tell people about these Saturday mornings, because they sure are a nice way to start your morning after you've already gotten out and taken a walk. Okay. Oops, I missed the guy down here. A little black dot in that one. You could too put the iris on first and then put the black dot, and then you wouldn't have that struggle with getting too much black in the blue. If you're painting, you definitely probably want to put the blue. If you're using acrylics, you want to put that blue on and then put the black, probably because it won't be dry enough and you're going to get a muddy mess. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my Julia Childs sample. I try to do several different samples in different stages. But now what I want to do is put something around the pupil and the iris, which would be like our white of the eye. So in this case, I used a peach. And if you remember in our original reel, it kind of looks peachy or brownish, like a real light tan. So I'm going to use that today. So I'm going to put that around everything else. I'm going right over my original blue line. It doesn't matter. It's just being part of the whole process. It's just going to be mixed in there. Oil pastels can be blended together to make a new color. Like I could add white to this and really whiten it up if I wanted. We're just coloring all these in. I'm coloring them pretty densely and pushing pretty hard. It's not like working with soft pastels, which are chalk. Chalk sits on top of the paper. This is sinking into the paper, so I can push a little bit harder. If I don't, like if I leave like these little white spots, guess what's going to happen when we paint? It's going to settle in those spots. The paint is going to settle in my white spots, and that's okay. I'm going to be fine with that. I kind of like that texture that it's going to have. So I'm pushing hard, but I'm not trying to be so solid. You might be one of those persons that likes things just more solid, all filled in. Maybe you love the color. Wax crayons will work just fine with this project too. Okay, I forgot another one. See how easy it is to get off. Okay. Oh, I forgot another one too up there. If you have any questions at this point, you can write them into your chat, and Rosie can read them off to me, and I can answer them while I'm filling in the rest of these little eyeballs. Some of you that are using acrylic paint today, because that's just your choice of medium, might have some different questions than oil and water paint. I know we haven't done the body yet and the head. We're getting to it. I consider this part really fun with the eyes. All these in. You can move in a circle with your stroke of your arm as you push in. That's a good workout, isn't it? Okay, I got all these eyeballs filled in. And remember I said I like that green tube that goes around the eye, like he's got eyeliner on. So I'm going to put a green line. I'm going to go right over my blue line, actually. Give it that glow. Ooh, he is definitely looking like an eye now. To attract that female. Yeah, I really like how that's coming out. And talk to yourself, whether you like something or don't like something. You go, oh gosh, no, I don't like that. Let's change that. If you like it, compliment yourself. No one else is going to be standing around telling you anything. Oh, I really like that color. I want to use that color again. Sometimes I make notes. I keep a little notebook next to me of the color combinations that I really like. And I won't forget it. Okay, I just went right over my blue lines. It's really separating that now from the feathery lines around it. I think I got them all. Okay, so there's all my eyes. Let me bring it closer to you so you can see. Closer, closer, closer. Oh, not too hard, huh? Very simple, very simple. And it's going to be so effective. I'm looking at all of you over there working. I have just a few. I only have like a handful of all the people that are doing this today up on my gallery screen. But you all have your heads down working diligently. Okay, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to work on that body. And I like to make the body look more three-dimensional and not so flat. So I'm going to use an overall blue body. And we're going to put blue here, and then we're going to add something over the top of it. So you can find a blue that you like. It could be a dark blue. It could be a medium blue, baby blue. Whatever you want to use will be good. I think I'm just going to stick with that kind of medium blue I was drawing with originally. And I'm going to just put that all over his body. I always do hair the way it grows or flows, so I'm not going this way. I'm going up and down vertically. If you're painting, you would be painting it down like this from the head going down. From his heart going down. And he's going to look flat, right? And I don't care if I don't get it all filled in because the watercolor is going to fill in the rest. Make sure that you get to the edges, go off the page if you have to. I have paper down here that I'm just going right onto the paper. You don't want to stop short. It makes him look like he has a really white belly down there. Okay, so I filled all that in, and there are some white spots. I can take my finger and actually smudge a little of that, and it's going to move a little bit oil. It's not going to act like chalk, which would really smudge well, but giving it just a little bit more inside the cracks or crevices. Now I'm going to take dark blue, darker than what I had. If you want to just use purple or whatever you have, I'm actually going to deepen the sides because the bird is three-dimensional. So the sides of the bird are going to be in shadow, and that's going to make him look more dimensional. Yay! Mr. Bird is coming alive. Okay, and the same thing with the belly. I want to make the belly look more full. So I want to use something lighter. I could use a lighter blue or I could add white. You could choose to use a different color too, pink or little pink in there. Mix purple when you put it with the blue. Okay, so now I have his body going. And what I want to do now is work on the head, same thing. Show you the picture again. His head is like a royal blue as well. So you will want to get your blue out and put some blue on his head. And those blue little plumes on the top of his head. Okay, now I'm going to take some black just to fill in his eyeball a little bit and give him a mouth inside of his beak. Alright, I'm going to bring this closer so you can see what I did with the body and with the head. Alright, the only thing we haven't added a bit of oil to is his skirt. So let's think about the skirt. Do you want a pink skirt, a green skirt? You don't have to be like the Peacock. He's got the green one in reality. His green skirt. You could do whatever you want. You might choose to do something totally different. So like in this one, I used light green. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a light green skirt, a grassy green. So inside each of those C shapes, those scallops, I'm going to put some light green. And that is just really, really going to make his rear end look fancy. Now he's got fancy pants. Sometimes I play these back and go, what was I talking about? It's hard for me because I'm used to teaching to people in person, and so I feel like I'm talking a lot. Whatever's in my brain. And it's really hard to talk and do at the same time because you're using left and right brain. I think I said that in our last session, but it really is true. So my art doesn't look as polished as what I normally do when I'm chit-chatting. So if you're quiet on the other end, that's okay, because that means you're just focusing with your right. Okay, I'm going to add a little dark green in between some of those scallops just for fun, make it more three-dimensional, gives it a little bit of shadow and depth. So in between the scallops, I'm adding a little dark green or grass green. You might be using pink and red, yellow and orange. I don't know what your fancy skirt's looking like, but I bet it's beautiful. I mean, that just made all the difference, just adding that beautiful skirt on there. Okay, and I think I might add just a tad of yellow maybe to the top of his head, yellow and blue mixed together and make a little green. Maybe I'll put a little yellow back here on the edges. If your oil pastels break, that's not a bad thing. Don't throw them away because sometimes you need them this small, in fact, a lot of the time, because you rub it on its side. Like you would take this and then just rub it to make a lot of oil onto the surface. So I keep every little piece, every little nib that breaks off. Sometimes I break them because I need a little piece to get in some areas. Oil pastels are fun. They're fun to sketch with because you can quickly get things onto paper, but you can't erase it, obviously. Then it's on there. So I like them. But chalk, is a little bit more difficult because unless you're going to be somewhere where you can put some spray on it and fix it, it's not going to be very permanent until you put it behind glass. Okay, so now we're ready for the painting part. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll give you like 2 more minutes to kind of get this part all done. You might even want to put your name on it this time before we start painting. For those of you who are doing this in acrylic today, because that's all you had, that's just because you're an acrylic artist, you don't have to put your name on yet. You can do that at the very end. But you might at this point be really trying to add more white, like highlights and things, to your artwork. Okay, so I'm going to sign it. You know what? I'm going to sign it probably in red, something I didn't even use today. And I'm going to put it down here inside the frame in case I do frame this, because if you frame this, it's going to cover your name if you don't put your name a little bit higher on the page. Alright, so I have that done. I think I have everything now in oil before I put my resist on there. So I am going to look for some of the projects coming up. Oh, so the one that we're going to be doing next is on Thursday night. And I know around the world a lot of the cherry blossoms have already bloomed, and we talked a bit about it last week if you joined me during our Wednesday Well class. And so we're going to do a perspective. Oh my gosh, it's going to be lovely. This is going to be an acrylic paint. So no watercolor unless you just want to do it in watercolor. But we'll do the horizon line. We'll have grassy knoll. We'll have the sky. And look, it's going to be so simple. For those of you who look at this and go, that looks too hard, you're going to just put sticks along a triangle that I'm going to make you draw. You're going to draw a triangle and you're going to put sticks. And then you're going to be that like an impressionist painter. And so that's going to be Thursday night at 5:45. You can go ahead and sign up for that. And then if you love these Saturday mornings and you're not a Thursday night person, 5:45, our next Saturday lesson is going to be really fun because we're going to meet back in 2 weeks at 9 o'clock in the morning. And looking at my list, we're going to do a cat. Who doesn't love cats? So get the kids together and we'll do a ginormous cat, like a portrait. So this will be fun, and I think that you can do that in either acrylic or watercolor or whatever you have. It'll be fun to do. And then we're switching up our Wednesday classes to Tuesday at 11 a.m. So you'll want to make a note of that. We won't be meeting at the original 12:30 on Wednesday. We're going to do 11 o'clock on Tuesday till 12:15. So you want to make a note of that. And I asked you to do a poll whether you like Italy or France because we will be focusing on those two. One will be a Monet water lily, and the other will be Venice, Italy, in Monet style as well. So we are going to be watercoloring using those markers like we did last week. It'll be fun, just kind of a break up your week, and give those who may not be able to join us on a Saturday or a Thursday evening. Just giving us different times of the week will be good. So those are fun. And then the next paint night would be the 18th of June, and we're going to do a giant pineapple. I love pineapples. Sweet fruit in the summer, you know, and all the bees are out. I think we picked up, I don't know, 8 bees out of our pool last night. It's crazy. But it'll be fun to do a pineapple and a little bee friend, and I can walk you through how to do all that. So you'll want to sign up for those things. These are all free of charge. Let people know we're going to continue these for the month of June into August. So there's a lot coming up. All right, I think I gave everybody enough time to get this all drawn out. I hope so, because looks like you're all looking up. Looks like you're all ready just from the handful of people I can see. All right, by the way, watercolor. You can make your own watercolor. So I made up some with some vinegar, some baking soda, some, what else do I have in here? Cornstarch. This is great. Corn syrup makes it shiny. These are fun to do, and they're very vibrant. If you want the recipe for this, and you just want to do a science experiment one day, you and the family, and then make your own watercolors, it's really fun. And you add the food coloring, and you got your color. I can send you that. Just email me. You can email me. I think the email's right here, Deborah@DeborahFoleyArt.com, and I can send you the recipe. It's really fun to do. Okay, I keep a spray bottle handy. So here's my big spray bottle. You can have a tiny little spray bottle. But instead of dipping my brush all the time in the water, you should have a water cup right now for your watercolors. And I just spray my palette of colors like that. And then I can just dip right in it. You can use your flat 1/2-inch brush to do this project, or your round one, whichever you feel more comfortable with. You really only need one today, but I just wanted to show you the difference. So when you do take another watercolor class with me, this is flat and this is round. These are both made with sable hair. It feels like horsehair. It's really soft, like the makeup brushes. So these are watercolor brushes. If they feel really hard and bristly, that would be because you're doing an acrylic painting and you want to do the background and get all the background color on it. So you would want that bristle brush because it holds more paint. This doesn't hold as much paint. You got to dip more just to keep the paint on the brush. Okay, now what are we going to do with this background? I'm working on a vertical, so it may drip a little bit. Don't worry if it drips for me. Don't feel bad for me because I've done it 1,000 times and maybe I want the drips this time. Who knows? But you might want to start with a sunset, like you could do purples and blues at the top. This one's really saturated because I used my homemade watercolors and I did the blue and the purple, and then I went to yellow. So you could do all the rainbow in the back. You could then switch to green along the bottom. You could do some sunset. You could have orange at the top. So you decide how you want to do it. And that's what we're going to spend the next 5 minutes doing. All right, I'm going to push the brush into the water. And I think I'm going to start with a cool color at the top because I have all this cool color at the bottom. So I'm going to switch and do orange closer to the blue because opposites attract. I love opposites. Okay, so I'm going to put some blue up here, go all the way across. Going right over. I just went right over the eyeball. That's what you want to do. Don't stop short because you're seeing what's happening now. You're seeing that. You're seeing how it's resisting and it's settling in all those tiny little cracks, and I just love it. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. This shouldn't take you very long at all. This is like just the piece de resistance. It just comes together at this point. A little purple in there. Oh my gosh. Mixing with the blue. Going right over the eyeballs. Don't stop short. This should take you not even 5 minutes, probably. You won't get the resist, obviously, if you're using acrylics, because the acrylics will just go right over the oil and stick to it. I'll put a little green in there. Now I'm going to switch to some warm colors, like orange. Your paper is going to be curling a little bit now because you're adding water to it. If after today or this afternoon it's all dry, it's probably going to dry. We only have 5% humidity right now. It's going to dry in no time. You can turn it over and just put 1 squirt of water on the back side of the paper and take your hand and just move that water so it's helping balance the other side and release some of the curve. And then you can put it between 2 copy table books to flatten it back out. Typically, to prep a paper, you would have sprayed it ahead of time and then turned it over to draw. That would be that. Because not everybody is doing oil resist. Everybody's doing something different. If you're acrylic painting or just using your colored pencils and have any questions, feel free to email me and ask me because you might have had something that we didn't cover today. Okay, so I'm putting in a little of those warm colors. Going right over the eyeballs. Okay, I'm going to switch back to some green in here. Mixing green with blue. Go right over his body. Right over his body. Everything. But this is so fun once you just discover that you can do it. It just covers all those little marks that you had. Covers everything. And voila, you have a peacock painting for today. Pretty cool, huh? Oh my gosh. I'm getting a little bit closer so that you can see. I'll probably add 1 more layer of color. Ooh, this is lovely. Okay, so I'm going to put it back up here and go over it 1 more time. And a little bit more blue. It's usually darker in space. This is called painting wet on wet. I'm letting the colors mix. It's not quite dry. I really want this thing to pop out. When I did this one in fiber, I left the background with yellow, green because I wanted the fabric to really stand out. But this medium, the oil pastel, is not as vibrant as fabric. If you have any questions at this time, you can put them in the chat, and Rosie will read it to the same to me. Nobody else can hear it, so don't feel like you're asking a stupid question or you are a stupid question. So nobody else will hear it except, and I will answer it, and not say your name or anything. Really popping out now with that extra color on me. And it's resisting the oil, just like that. The oil just clumps together. You know, it's just It's not going to spread. It doesn't spread on the paper. Water is always water. It flows. And this is where you can experiment with mixing color too. Like you can put purple and green. I kind of like how it's dripping down the page there. But I did different ones, right? So I did this one with a little more yellow and orange at the top. And this one. So these are just like ones that I play around with because then I might turn them into something really big like this. So these are some of my playing. They go into my sketchbooks. And then I showed you this one a while ago, which I was putting all light blue. So this one will be like more of an analogous. So I'm going to do all light blue on this one. Actually, I can just keep going on that one. A little teal in there. I like how it beads up too. With the little beads going. Let's try some of my homemade green. Not as vibrant right now because I made it like 2 months ago. It does have a shelf life if you're making a homemade ones, but this one's coming along. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left, and soon we're going to let you share some of your work. If it's not dry, obviously don't pick it up because then you're going to have drips. I am. And we'll get to see all your work. Yay! By the way, this one here is for sale. If you want to purchase that beautiful bird, for today, I'm offering him up for $30 off what he normally is. He just came back from a gallery that was locked up the entire time. Nobody was seeing him. So I do need to offload him, and you can email me. He's not that expensive, so if you would like to have him, he's only $200. So you can have it with the frame. It's already got the wire on the back. It's all ready to go. So it might be a nice Father's Day gift or a wedding present. Well, that'd be fun. Okay, so anybody want to show me their work? They're there. Everybody's working. Okay, I see one. Oh, you're using acrylic paint. Yes. He's going to look so precious. Yeah, if you're using paint, it's going to take about 2 hours for you to get that one done. And it's going to be beautiful. Oh, when I see the watercolor one, oh my gosh, you guys, these are beautiful. I know that the whole public can't see them. This is why it's fun to do it live on Zoom because I get to see them. Yes, that is so pretty. I love your dark blue purple in the top. And it went right over your oil. It's gorgeous. They look really beautiful too once you put the frame around them. So you can go get those lovely little mats like this and stick them over your beautiful work. And they really are nice. Oh my gosh. Oh, that looks so nice. Oh, that's great. Yay. Well, you guys are good students. You're probably following along. Hopefully I didn't go too fast on the drawing part, because that's really, using the oil pastel to draw really had to set the whole tone for us to be able to just do a wash over the background. But you could have watercolored the whole bird. You could get a small brush and be really doing those eyes and using more tint and less water when you're doing lots of detail. Okay, I think she's probably going to let everybody kind of in, and you can talk to me if you want to. And with these last few minutes. So Rosie, I'll let you
All right.
Somebody said they love the speaker view. Oh, somebody said France. They actually want to decorate their child's room in Paris. All right. I like hearing those comments. That's fun.
All right. So we only got one